Hello Bookworm family, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Danny. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button down below. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell because it's always a mystery when I post new videos. And if you're not following me on Instagram already, please do that. It is at @the_dancing_bookworm. I post on there full book reviews and bookish content. So I'm at the dance studio right now. I am just finishing up doing some camps and some solos, and I am cleaning out our costume donation bin. Guys, there are so many costumes. Check this out. So these are donations from like kids who didn't want their costumes anymore, or like costumes from like a really long time ago. So they're not like modernized costumes, but there are so many of them. And they're great for doing like period pieces, like 80s, like there's a lot of costumes from the 80s in here, and also lyrical costumes never really go out of style, like they're always pretty and rhinestoned and stuff like that. So I am listening to Rainbow Gray while I do this. That's by Laura Ellen Anderson, and that is about a girl named Ray Gray, I think. I can't remember. I haven't listened to it in a couple days. I started it a couple days ago, but I'm finishing it up tonight probably. But she is got like superpowers or she doesn't have superpowers. She lives in a world where everyone has these weather magic powers, and she doesn't have any, but she ends up going to Earth and getting these rainbow powers, and she's the only person who has rainbow powers out of all the people who have weather magic powers. So I'm listening to that right now while I do this, and then I'm gonna head home, and I do have a couple physical books that I'm working on, so we'll see if I'm gonna be ready to read one of those or if I'm gonna crash when I get home. We'll see. I've had a lot of Mountain Dew today, so we'll see if I'm ready to crash or not. Okay, so it's Wednesday. I finished listening to Rainbow Gray last night. I gave it a 4-star. I thought it was really good. I would have just liked the characters that weren't the main character to be explained just a little bit more, but overall I thought it was really good and it was really entertaining. So, 4 stars. I babysat today. I am currently listening to The Day I Fell Into a Fairy Tale. I don't know who wrote it, but it's right here. And that is about a girl whose brother says he's too old to play fairy tales anymore. And so she gets really upset, so her mom goes out and buys her a new fairy tale book, and it ends up like pulling her into a fairy tale. It's a pretty short read. It's on Scribd. Just listening to it, kind of relaxing while I do that. I do still have 2 physical books on my TBR, but I think I'm going to save them for the weekend because I'm pretty pooped right now. But yeah, I got to figure out how I'm going to do my schedule and my life pretty much once I go back to working 6 days a week and still read the same amount, because I still want to read a lot. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. But yeah, I'm pretty tired right now. I babysat today. I don't know why. I was more tired when I got home today than when I got home from camp yesterday, and I slept more last night than I did at camp, but maybe it's just like that like second day drag. But anyway, I have one more camp tomorrow. It is campfires and cartwheels, or cartwheels and campfires, something like that. And basically it's like a tumbling camp, but we take like camping breaks in it. So like we'll have like a s'more, we'll make a craft, we'll go on an indoor hike, stuff like that. But then in between all that, we'll be doing tumbling and learning like the basics and safety of tumbling. So it'll be a fun one. And then I have a couple things to do at work after camp, and then I'm headed home, and I got one more day of babysitting this week. And then the weekend. So should be pretty easy. I don't know really what I'm doing over the weekend other than crashing, but I kind of want to go on a little adventure, but I don't want to spend too much money, because next week, you'll see this week, I'm going to, on Monday, the mall, to a place called Wonderworks, and I'm taking the kids, and I'm not bringing my friends, but my friends are meeting us there with their kids, so it's going to be like a little belated birthday thing with Jacob, because I didn't get him a present yet, so that's his present from me, is to go to this thing, to this place called Wonderworks, which is like an indoor like science-y place at our mall, and to do like the food court and stuff. And I'm also babysitting one of my dancers that day, so she's coming with us, and I'm taking the 3 nieces and nephew and meeting people, so that'll be fun. And then in next week vlog, I have the state fair that I'm going to. So I have a couple busy things next week, but I also kind of want to do something fun this weekend, but I don't really know what because I don't want to spend a lot of money because I want to save it for those 2 events. So we'll see what I come up with, but I am going to rest and chill. I probably won't read a physical book tonight because you guys know it'll just make me tired and fall asleep. So probably just going to play on my phone until it's time to crash. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Hello, it is Thursday. Chandler's just playing at my feet, that's what I'm looking at. I had a camp today at the studio. It was cartwheels and campfires. The 2 camps this week were super cute. Just look at my nieces and nephew at this camp. So Ava was actually an assistant this time because she's 9 now, so she's old enough to be a student teacher. So she was an assistant and she was helping out. And then Jacob attended both camps and Riley attended the one camp, the superhero camp. So much fun. We had a great time. But guys, I am not kidding when I say everything hurts. Like, I had babysitting Monday and Wednesday. And then I ended up staying later to have dinner, so I played with the kids all day, both days. And then Tuesday and Thursday I had the camps. In addition to the camps, I also had some solos, some training, open houses, registration. Like, it was just busy this week. And I was supposed to babysit tomorrow, and I messaged my sister-in-law, and I was like, hey, can I just do later next week and like just go over longer days next week because I feel like someone has hit me with a bus. So I did text my sister-in-law and I was like, hey, can I have tomorrow off because I am just dead from these camps? And she was very nice, so I'm going to do later hours next week, like going for a longer time babysitting, and then take today off so my sister-in-law can still set up her classroom because she is going back to teaching this year, now that Riley's going to a different daycare, but now that she's in daycare full-time and the kids are both in school and the pandemic is kind of not over, but settled, I guess. People are vaccinated and stuff. She feels more comfortable going back to work. So it's crazy. She's getting her classroom set up. I'm preparing for my dance classes. I'm watching the kids a lot. I'm doing stuff at the studio. Wednesday night, we actually have a rehearsal for the state fair. So I have that too, along with an open house, and I'm teaching a free class that night for new students. So yeah, just like a whole bunch of stuff we have going on. And by we, I mean me and my nieces and nephew, because apparently they're the reason my schedule is busy. I don't really have a social life without them. So it's a fun time. My cat has the zoomies again. I feel like my cat always has the zoomies when I'm vlogging. But my sister-in-law said it was fine for me to have tomorrow off. So I will be home Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I might go somewhere. I really want to save my money for Wonderworks and the State Fair because those things do get pricey and they're super fun. But I want to make sure I have enough money to really enjoy myself and enjoy hanging out there. So I plan mostly to do a reading weekend, but we'll see. Maybe I'll do something else, but probably just a reading weekend. So the 3 books that I have left on my TBR, I have 2 physical books and 1 ebook. So the first one is Maniac McGee by Jerry Spinelli. This is a boy who ends up orphaned and he moves to a town where racism is still very at foot. He is, I believe he is white, and he either moves in with a black family or he has a neighbor that's a black family. I don't remember. I was supposed to read this in school and I never did. I'm sure you guys are shocked. Actually, I didn't read a lot of books I was supposed to in school because I'm a very slow reader and I couldn't make the deadline. So I did a lot of spark noting. But yeah, he is trying to understand this town, and also make them realize that, you know, we have to love each other and that things go by quickly and we kind of just have to like respect each other and stuff like that. So that is Maniac McGee. Then I'm also reading this weekend Wake by Lisa McMahon. This is about a girl who can travel into people's dreams, and then one day she ends up traveling into nightmares by accident and learning like these horrible things about people. It says she falls into a gruesome nightmare, one that chills her to the bone. For the first time, Janie is more than a witness to somebody else's twisted psyche. She's a participant. So sounds very creepy. It's written in diary format, so it shouldn't take very long to read. And then my other one is I Could Chew on This and Other Poems by Dogs. And that's a super cute little poetry book that's supposed to be written by dogs, but it's obviously not written by dogs. I mean, that'd be cool, but it's not. So yeah, so those are what is on my leg? I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on in my life right now. So yeah, so those are the 3 books that I'm reading this weekend. If I do end up going to do something, it'll probably be something cheap. That doesn't involve an Uber, so someplace I can walk to, but my knee is really giving me problems. If you guys don't know, I had triple knee surgery back in 2017. I had to get my patella repaired, my meniscus repaired, and my ACL repaired all in one surgery. I was off my leg for a very long time. It was very painful, really long recovery, and sometimes I still have problems from it. And the other day I was teaching a soloist and I went to go do a turn and my whole leg went numb. And it really, really freaked me out because the one thing they said don't do if I went back to dance as a teacher or as a student after getting my ACL repaired was to turn because it can re-tear it. So I did get a cadaver ACL. So it kind of is supposed to be a little bit more sturdy than like a fake one, I guess. And it's been a few years, but also one of the things that I was supposed to do is continue with PT for a while, and I only did it for like 6 months. So it's still a little weak. I still sleep with it elevated at night, which is really bad. You're not supposed to do that. But it does cause me a lot of pain. And now my other leg, so it was on my left leg that I got the surgery. Now my right leg has started going as well. So every once in a while I'll feel like a little shifting. So what used to happen is my patella would sublux. If you guys don't like talking about medical stuff, fast forward like a minute and a half. But my patella would sublux, which means it would dislocate and snap right back in. So it would like pop. But it would like take me down. Like it was so painful. So I had a subluxing patella that I danced on for over a year. Not only danced on, but did gymnastics on and did point on. So, not my smartest choices. But yeah, so that's why I had to have such a bad knee surgery. So after the knee surgery, I was supposed to do PT for 6 months. I wasn't supposed to dance. I wasn't supposed to turn. I started dancing like a month later and did adult classes for up until last year was my first year not participating as a dancer in recital because I had finally just felt like my body was done as a dancer. So probably should have felt that a long time ago. The other problem is now I've gained so much weight since stopping adult classes, and I'm aware of that, but we can lose weight. We can't get another leg. I mean, we can. We shouldn't have to. We should take care of our body, which is the hard part for me. I do forget to do that sometimes and get busy doing other stuff. Today at the cartwheels camp, I did a cartwheel. I'm not supposed to do that. So, I can still do a cartwheel though. I can do a mean cartwheel. I'm really good at those still. Not supposed to be doing them, but I can do them. One day I will show you guys. It's not today because right now I'm in my pajamas and my cat is going to like jump on me if I try to do a cartwheel in my apartment. Also, it's like well after midnight, so I'm pretty sure I shouldn't tumble when I live upstairs in an apartment building. Seems like poor choices for my neighbors. Anyways, I'm just rambling at this point, which means I'm tired, which means I'm going to bed. So I will see you guys tomorrow when I start reading. Hello. So it is Friday. Oh, hello, Bing. Hi, Bing. It is about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I actually just woke up. Guys, don't judge me because I only slept 3 hours for the last 5 nights. I've only slept 3 hours. And I didn't go to bed until about 6 a.m. this morning because I was in so much pain from these camps and babysitting and stuff. My body was just like, no more. So I did just wake up. I actually think it's closer to 4 now. I woke up at 3 though, because I just kind of laid in my bed on my phone. But I did just realize Jade is live right now from JD Ray Reads, and I'm really excited for that. So I'm going to go on there and do the sprints with her. She's doing live sprints right now. And I'm going to start with Wake, I think. Because it's a little bit longer, so I'm gonna get through that one first. And then I also have a rice bowl getting delivered from Moe's because I am hungry and I had DoorDash credits. So I'm gonna go do that and kind of follow along with her sprints, and I'll check in with you guys when I read a little bit. But yeah, don't judge me about waking up so late. I literally just like rolled out of bed and started filming, so you're welcome. But didn't roll out of bed because I was up on my phone for like an hour before that, so. Okay, guys, it's almost midnight. I mostly read, played with Chandler, and then watched things on my phone all day today. I only have 90 pages of Wake left, but I don't think I'm going to finish it tonight, or if I do, I'm going to finish it much later tonight because I'm not really tired because I slept so late today, and I want to do as much of my TBR for September as possible tonight because I'm doing 3 readathons. Hi, Chandler. But I'm doing 3 readathons for September. I'm doing my foot's back there too. Hello, foot. This is like a dancer thing. Like I just have to point my feet. It just looks like a foot is growing out of my shoulder. Oh, hello, foot. Okay, that was way too entertaining to me. Okay, but I'm doing my Bookerty. I'm doing Becca's Bookopalathon, and I'm doing Roll the Rainbow Readathon. So I have 3, and then plus I have my reading rivalry group that I do on Facebook every month, which is like a little reading competition that I'm part of a private group to do. So I have a lot of books, and the unfortunate part is September I go back to work, and it's usually one of my busiest months because I'm trying to adjust to my schedule, which will be 5 days a week-ish, but like kind of, because sometimes I'll have to work on Tuesdays, which like starting in October I'll have to work every Tuesday, but only for an hour, so it's not that bad, and it's at a school district where I just teach dance at a school district. But for like the month of September I'll only go in when I'm really needed on Tuesdays, but then I also kind of work from home on Tuesdays. It kind of depends on what needs to be done at the studio. So really my only like full day where I don't do any dance related things is Sundays. So I don't know how it's gonna work out. I did pretty good with reading this month, and I had Saturday and Sunday off this month, so I don't know if it's gonna like go back to being like horrible reading or not, but I have 4 book related things that I'm doing in September, and don't know how much time I'm gonna actually have to do all of them. So I'm hoping for the best. I don't know how it's gonna go, but I'm hoping for the best. But yeah, so I have that. I don't really have anything exciting happening in September other than on the 1st I'm going to the state fair. That is like the only fun thing I'm doing in September. My family is going to Disney World without me, so I will sit here and pine for Disney. That's okay. They're allowed a family vacation. I just don't like when they go without me. But yeah, so I'm going to work on some of my TBR stuff now because I have a lot to figure out for that. I don't even know what I'm doing. So, and a lot to film. So I'm just going to start figuring it out and hope for the best. And then we'll see. I'm going to try to condense as much as possible so that hopefully I only have to do 10 reads. My reading rivalry group is doing like a back to school theme. So a lot of my books I feel like are going to be middle grade YA because like some of the prompts are like read a book about school, read a book about like a certain class or something like that. Didn't actually look through them, but a lot of them are like school based where like you have to kind of read like YA or middle grade, I guess, unless you're reading like a new adult maybe. But yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna have to do. So I'm gonna go try to figure some of that stuff out, and I will either finish Wake late tonight or finish it tomorrow. But I'm pretty happy with the progress I made. I didn't expect to read anything today because I thought I'd be too tired, so we'll see what the rest of the night and weekend holds for me. This morning I woke up pretty early. I woke up at like, I'm gonna say like 10:30ish, which is early for me because you guys know I go to bed at like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. But I woke up, I was doing like a couple things, and then this afternoon I look over and Chandler is just sleeping in the cutest little position. So I was like, oh my goodness. He was on the bed and he was like all curled up and his belly was up and his paws were up, and I was like, oh my goodness. So I crawled in and took a nap. I couldn't resist. He was so cute. So we took a nice long nap together and it was great. But now I'm very wide awake, and I didn't want to be wide awake. I wanted to wake up early today on purpose because I have an early morning tomorrow. So I'm trying to adjust myself. It's never gonna work, guys. I either stay up wicked late and I'm tired all day, or I will fall asleep too early and then wake up in the middle of the night and still be tired all day. I'm just not a morning person. But for this next week, I have to be a morning person. So I am babysitting Monday through Friday this week, and I just have to be awake. I have to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and there are days that I'm taking them to do stuff. Tomorrow I'm taking them to that science museum I was talking about, Wonderworks. Yeah, so I have to be awake, I have to be energized, and then Thursday, we're going to the fair. Wednesday, I have to be really energized because I'm babysitting all day. But then at night, I have practice for the fair. Like my students have practice. And then after that, I have a free class and an open house. So I really have to be awake all day and then go to the fair the next day. So I got to figure this out. I'm not doing great with this schedule, but it is only for a week. But last week I got so burnt out that I didn't babysit on Friday, and I extended the hours for this week. So we'll see if I regret that choice or not. But yeah, I do have next weekend off. However, yesterday I was feeling crappy, but I also filmed my September TBR, and guys, it took 5.5 hours to film my TBR. And then I read. So I did finish reading Wake last night. I gave this a 2-star, and it was a very debated 2-star. I was half debating giving it a 1-star, but I liked the concept. Like, I could see the concept being a really cool, like, TV show. I am going to spoil this for a second, so if you don't want the spoiler, fast forward about maybe a minute. But spoiler happening right now. So she actually, at the end, becomes a cop who can travel into people's dreams, and I think that would be a sick TV show, like a cop who travels into people's dreams to find the killer. Anyway, okay, so spoiler done. But yeah, because of that, I thought it would be really cool, so I thought I was gonna give it a 5-star and stuff like that, but everything else about it was not good. There was like this relationship drama, there was just like this, I don't know, like she was like kind of a flaky character. She wasn't really reliable. And it just, like, there were things that would happen and it would be like, why'd you do that? And I had to like reread like 6 or 7 times, like, what did she do? And I couldn't figure out what she did. It would just be like, why'd you do that? And people would be freaking out and mad at each other. And I was like, but what happened? What'd she do? No one told me. There was a lot of instances where I was like, what? I have no idea what happened. I don't know. So I did give it 2 stars because I thought the ending, like, concept was so cool that I wanted it to be a TV show, but I did not like the rest of it or really anything else about it, like just the concept. So it got 2 stars, and it was really, really almost a 1-star, but I was like, what a sick concept. Like, that is so cool. And it is a series, so maybe the other 2 books would be better, but I just didn't like this one. But then I also read I Could Chew on This and Other Poems by Dogs. And then I found I Could Pee on This and Other Poems by Cats, and I got so excited that I read them both. And by the time I stopped reading them, it was 7 a.m. this morning. But obviously this morning I said 7 a.m. But I saw the cat one and I was like, I have to read this. I just read the dog one. There were so many moments that I was like, oh, Chandler Bing, you wrote me a poem. Oh. But yeah, so I did read those 3 things last night. So the only thing left on my TBR I have to read is Maniac McGee by Jerry Spinelli. So I will be reading that tonight. But I actually have to take out the garbage, change my litter box, not my litter box, change Chandler's litter box, and run to the store and the ATM because I want to have cash for this week because I do a lot better with money management if I can physically see the money rather than have it on a credit card. So I'm going to do that. And then when I get back, I will be reading Maniac McGee, and I probably am going to make tacos for dinner. I just had tacos last night, but I really like tacos. So probably going to make tacos for dinner or rice. I don't know. My throat still really hurts, but I really like tacos. So we'll see. And again, you guys know, I always take a COVID test when I have cold symptoms, and it is still not COVID. It is just another stupid sinus infection. And I know it's a sinus infection because it starts the same way as every other sinus infection. I'm just going to be miserable this week on a very busy week. So awesome. But yeah, so I am going to run my errands, and I will catch you guys in a little bit. Okay, guys, so I'm out here walking anyway. My throat hurts and I don't feel like making dinner. So Wendy's has Frosties. That would feel real good on my throat right now. So I think we're gonna go to Wendy's. Whoops, that's not making dinner. So that was a very chaotic trip out. Wendy's was weird. Like I don't even know. It was very bizarre to me. So I got there and the lady was like, oh, like, what do you want? And then walked away. And so I started telling her and she was like, I wasn't ready for your order. I was like, okay. So then I ordered my food And I go over to the soda machine to like fill up my lemonade, and there's no lemonade in there. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll just get a soda, but I didn't want anything with caffeine. So I'm like looking, and I was like, everything has caffeine in it. So a guy comes out and he's like, you good? And I was like, well, all the sodas have caffeine and I don't really want caffeine. Like, I wanted lemonade. He's like, oh, I think I can bring it to the back and get you some lemonade. And I was like, okay. And he was like, just the Minute Maid kind, right? Because the other kind's more expensive. And I was like, yep, just the Minute Maid kind's fine. So like 10 minutes later, and I'm like, how long does it take to fill up a cup of lemonade? So I like went up to the counter and I was like, that lemonade. And the lady was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh, that the guy that was out here, he said he would get me a lemonade from the back because there wasn't any in the soda machine. She's like, right. I was like, yeah, like it's been 10 minutes. Is that coming anytime soon now? I want to sit down with my food. And she was like, well, we're cleaning out the soda machine back here. And I was like, oh, that's okay. I'll just get a soda. Like, it's fine. It's good. Like, I would rather just sit down and start eating before it gets dark because I'm walking home. And she was like, it's fine. It's going to be like 5 more minutes. I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll just start with my food. So I go and I sit down, and then I see her fill it up at the, like, lemonade that costs more. And she's like, oh, I gave you a fancier lemonade because this is taking longer. And I was like, oh, that was so nice of you. She's like, yeah, I'm not actually supposed to do that. I was like, okay, well, I won't tell. She's like, right, but I gave you the more expensive one. And I was like, thanks. I was like, I said I would have just had a soda. And she was like, right. So I was like, I don't know if she's trying to get me to pay for the more expensive one or what, but I was like, I'm not going to because I would have just gotten a soda. So we just like stared at each other for a minute, and she was like, okay. And then these people came in, and I don't know, like, it was like a very bizarre situation, but it was like this family, and the guy like comes in and he like shouts like as loud as possible. He's like, you guys get whatever you want at all, whatever you want. And I was like, should I be concerned? It's like a kidnapping. Like, you know, like when you see people who are like putting on a bigger front than they need to show that they're being a good family, and you're like, something's sus there. That's what was happening. And I was like, so I'm like looking at the kids' faces, I'm looking at the wife's face, I'm like, is everyone okay? Like, kind of thing. And I'm like looking, and so the wife comes and sits down, and I don't know, I just had like this weird like gut feeling. So I was like, are you good? I was like she sat down like directly at the table next to me, and I was like, oh, are you guys good? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, it just seemed like you guys maybe were on a long trip or something. I don't know. I was like trying to like make conversation. She's like, we're fine. And I was like, okay. Like, it just like seemed sketchy, like the way he came in. He's like, get whatever you want, get whatever, like shouting. And I was like, okay. And then the kids sit down, and one of them definitely had autism. And I was like, okay, maybe they're just like frazzled or something, or maybe like somebody's hard of hearing and that's why the guy's yelling or something like that. Like, I was like, okay, could be any reason, but it just seemed really suspicious because like they all just kind of came in with like these like dazed looks on their face, except the dad who was like yelling. So the kids sit down, and the one kid's like, oh, can I try your meal? Can I try your meal? And I'm like kind of looking over and like not trying to be nosy, but I don't know, I just had like a really weird feeling about the situation. So it's like, okay, something's going on here. I don't know. So I'm just like watching them, but like not watching them, like, cause like my table was like next to theirs, like they were here. So I'm like watching them out of like my peripherals to like make sure no one's like showing any signs of like anything's up or anything like that. It just seemed really suspicious to me. So I'm like sitting there and I'm like eating my meal, and then all of a sudden one kid goes, I'm sorry you and dad got into a fight. And I was like, kind of like made like a face, and I was like, okay. And she was like, it's fine. And he was like, no, I'm like really sorry you and dad got into a fight. You know, like he likes to eat. And the dad's like sitting there at that point. He's like, yep, sometimes I fight when I'm hungry and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. And he was like, are you okay now, Mom? Are you okay now, Mom? And it just seemed really suspicious to me. So I'm like kind of like looking over, and he was like, does this have something to do with the hospital? And I was like kind of like taken back. And so eventually all 3 of them, except the mom, got up to go to like the bathroom or something, and I was like, are you good? Like, do you need something? And she was like, I swear we're fine. We're just having a bad day. And I was like, okay. It's like, I'm gonna stay here until you guys leave because I'm eating anyways. But if you change your mind and you like need something, let me know. She was like, oh my God, would you mind your own business? And I was like, okay. It just seems really weird to me. Like, it just seemed really weird. And I was like, maybe I'm overstepping. I don't know. Do you guys think it's overstepping? It might have been. It might have been overstepping. But I just feel like if I was in a situation where, I don't know. Like, I feel like if I was in a situation where I was in like a relationship that I wasn't happy in, or like something was going on weird with my kids or something like that, and somebody reached out, like it might get me to open up more. I don't know. Maybe I overstepped, but it just seemed really suspicious, and clearly things were not okay because he was talking about a fight in a hospital and stuff like that. So I don't know. I was really it was really suspicious. And then I started walking back, and I wasn't gonna go to the store because all I needed from the store was paper towels and like some sort of like sinus infection medicine. So I went in, I got that stuff, and then I ended up spending more money because teacher supply was on sale, and I needed like new notebooks and stuff for teaching dance. So yeah, I made choices. But yeah, now I'm home and I'm gonna start reading Maniac McGee. It's like 10:30 at night, and I have to get up early tomorrow. And I thought this was only 125 pages, but it's actually almost 200 pages, but whatever. I might not finish it tonight. I'm actually really not in a reading mood, but I want to read because this is the last book on my TBR. I really want to finish this TBR, so. But I have gummy bears, so, you know, getting me through. But yeah, that was my weird trip to Wendy's. Kind of glad I went, because, you know, who gets that kind of adventure from sitting home? It was an adventure. But yeah. So I'm gonna read, and I'll let you guys know what I do if I finish it or if I don't finish it. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, y'all, it is 8 a.m. I only slept for 2 hours last night. Chandler's coming with me because it's gonna be hot today. So we are headed out to my brother's house for 2 hours, and then we're going to the mall to do Wonderworks. So I will see you guys there, and I will be heavily caffeinated because I did not sleep well. So wish me luck.
One.
Wait, hold on, not yet. Ready? Punch towards each other, but not at each other. Shake your butt.
That's it. La 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 la.
I can hear him screaming. I can hear him screaming. Slow.
Wait.
Whoa, there you go.
Video.
I'm videoing. Go ahead.
So ready?
Yep.
Picture me. No!
Ah, it popped.
You gotta picture me.
Hello. So it is about 2:30 in the morning on Monday night, so it's actually Tuesday. But I died when I got home. That was so much work, guys. Props to every parent in the world. Oh my goodness. Oh, my hair is crazy because I fell asleep with wet hair. But oh my gosh, guys, that was exhausting. I don't know how you parents do it. 4 kids, and then we met up with 4 more kids. So there were 8 kids in total. And oh my Lord, it was just find this kid, where's that kid, do this, do that, run, get this. And then, so we started off at the Science Museum, the Wonderworks, and instantly we walk in and Jacob freaked out because there were loud sounds and flashing lights, and I just didn't even think that it would be that loud. Like, I had been there before, and I guess I just didn't realize, like, normally loud sounds bother me too, but I guess like the level of the loud sound was not too bad for me, but it was really bad for Jacob. So yeah, so we got there and instantly he's in meltdown mode. Riley's running around and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm trying to catch them, and the 2 older girls were amazing. Ava and her friend, absolutely phenomenal. I'm like, Ava, get your brother. Ava, get your sister. That kid, she is big sister supreme. Like, she is so good. I can't wait to take her to the fair on Thursday to just have an older kid day, because she works her butt off with her siblings. Like, she is on top of it. Anywho, so she was helping me out. Her friend was helping me out. My friends were helping me out, even though they had their own kids. Then someone else's kid was like running away and I'm catching them, and we're all kind of like helping each other. But oh my goodness, what an event. And so we had fun at the Science Museum, but almost everything was broken. We were like doing stuff and then things were just broken, and I was like, oh, that's not fun. And there wasn't a lot of staff, so like I couldn't even really complain because there wasn't a lot of staff. I don't know, it was very, very disorganized in there. Like, they had a lot of stuff, but like the kids weren't like having a great time. Like, they were having fun, but it wasn't like the best time of their lives kind of thing. So then we go out to lunch and we decide to go to Johnny Rockets. And after Wonderworks, the price was so expensive for Wonderworks, I was like, okay, we can do Johnny Rockets and then we'll go back to Wonderworks because the tickets were good for all day. So it's like, we'll go back to Wonderworks. There was like a bubble zone that they really liked. So we go to Johnny Rockets and we sat at Johnny Rockets for an hour and 45 minutes, guys. It took forever to get our food and our drinks, and they were very, like, the kids were out of control, which, I mean, fair. Like, they were good for the amount of time it should take to eat a meal. Like, they were good for like a half an hour, 45 minutes. They were good. But an hour and 45 minutes, they were losing it. I mean, they're 2, 3, we had ages, well, an infant was with us, but like, he was fine, but ages 3 to 9. So everyone was under 10 years old that was with us. And then there was the baby. And so I'm like, you know, like, this is insane. Like, it's taking way too long to get our food, to get our drinks and all that stuff. And the kids are just losing it. Like, the older girls were fine. Like, they were trying to keep each other company, but they also didn't bring like their phones or anything with them. So they're just sitting there with coloring sheets, and they're like kind of old for coloring. So they're like, okay. And the little ones, they finish their coloring sheets within the first 15 minutes. Like, and I'm like, okay. And like, it's taking forever to get our food and drinks. So finally we get our food and drinks, and we have a trampoline park at our mall. And we get our food, we get our drinks, we pay. We have cupcakes for Jacob's birthday celebration and the little boy whose birthday it was with us. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna go walk around the mall. We can't do this. And my friend says, I think we're going to the trampoline park. And I was like, it's so expensive. It was $85 for the trampoline park for 4 kids. For me to not even do anything, to just stand there and supervise. $85 for all 4 of them. And I was like, you know what? I don't even care. They're losing it. They were losing it. So I spent so much because they were just like, I couldn't keep them. Like, I could have called my sister-in-law and said, hey, it's time to pick us up. Like, these kids need to go home. But I feel like they didn't really have a fun time at Wonderworks because everything was broken down. Like, they had fun, but the 2 older girls, like, they did a couple like older kid things. They did like a little the roller coaster simulator, and they liked that. And they did like a 4D ride that the little ones couldn't do. But the other 2 things that they were old enough for, they weren't tall enough for. And well, they weren't tall enough for one thing, and the other thing went upside down, and neither of them wanted to go upside down. So they were like really just like, okay, like, it was a good time. And like, the older girls were very understanding. They were like, it's okay, we're going to the fair on Thursday, we can do fun stuff then. And I was like, you're right, but it's also not fair to you. And then the little ones, they had a good time, but I mean, everything was just broken except the bubbles. They had a really good time with the bubbles, but like they couldn't do any of the ride things. So I was like, you know what, let's just go to the trampoline park. So we did the trampoline park for an hour. Everyone had a great time as a whole, spending time together, but it was just a lot of work. So I came home and I just died. Like, my sister-in-law invited me to stay for dinner, and I was like, maybe I'll stay for dinner. And then I was like, I'm not staying for dinner. Like, I went home. I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for dinner, and I fell asleep so hard. And Chandler was actually at my brother and sister-in-law's house all day, tormenting the dogs again, which we really got to talk about because it was 93 degrees out here today. So he couldn't stay home by himself in that heat for the whole day. So I brought him there, and I guess he was really annoying to my brother and sister-in-law. Whoops. But he passed out right with me. We were like just like a little ball of, and it was so hot here, and I was like, I don't even care. I'm so tired. We just flopped, fell asleep. So I woke up about an hour ago. And I will probably read Maniac McGee now. And it was a fun time. I love spending time with my nieces and nephew, but oh my gosh, it was just so much work. I was like, I don't know how parents do it. And I don't know how parents afford it. Dear God, if you have more than one kid, you're spending like $100 just to go to the mall. Like, that's ridiculous. I was like, the guy at the trampoline park, I was like, okay, I have 2 under 46 inches and 2 over 46 inches. And he's like, okay. And I was like, okay. And he was like, that'll be $85. I was like, for what? For them to jump on a trampoline? We have one of those at home. Like, he's like, well, like we have like the dodgeball and stuff like that. And I had to pay to go to the science museum for myself, and I didn't get to do anything. Like, everything's like, no adults, no adults, no adults. Like, so I'm just literally standing there watching them, and I was like, there should be like a supervisor's ticket or something, like $5 to supervise your children, because that's all I'm doing at this point, because they can't go by themselves. So I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, so, but I think everyone had a good time. By the end of it, I really think they needed to jump on those trampolines, and that really, I mean, the girls were flipping, they were doing their tumbling passes, stuff like that. My Ava's friend is in my higher level acro course, so she's doing aerials and front flips and stuff like that, and Ava's trying to do her front handspring, and she's like, I'm scared to do it, I'm scared to do it. I was like, girl, look, your friend's here like flipping like crazy. Ava just gets in her own head, so she was excited. She finally got a couple flips on the trampoline, and she was very excited that she was able to do it. She just gets in her own head. She's a very good little acrobat, but she just gets very nervous about tumbling, where her friend is fearless, and she was like, oh, look at this, I can do this, I can do this. I was like, oh my gosh. And Jacob is fearless. I just look over at one point, and Jacob's just sitting on the wall where he wasn't supposed to be. Like, the trampolines like go up at an incline, and I just look up and he's sitting on the wall, and the like guy at the trampoline park is yelling at him, and I was like, he looks like freaking Elf on the Shelf getting yelled at. So I had to go get him down. I was like, I don't have the socks, and the guy's like, yeah, you can't go on the trampoline, you gotta get him down from over there. And I was like, Ava, you gotta go get your brother down, because he's not gonna come just because I'm like, Jacob, get down. He's like, haha. I'm like, oh man. But yeah, it was a great time. Riley was exhausted by the end of it. She was like crying and everything, and then she was just like, and I was like, tomorrow you get a nap. Tomorrow you get a nap. It'll be a great time for you. So yeah, it was fun, but it was a tiring day and an expensive day. So the fair is not as expensive, weirdly. It's only $3 to get into the fair, and most of the stuff is free other than food. Food is wicked expensive at the fair, but I mean, you can bring a picnic. But like, most of the stuff is free. The shows are free, the entertainment's free. I mean, you can get like a fun snack here or there. I'm like, I'm all about the fair. We should have done the fair twice. But I am going to finish reading Maniac McGee now. I don't know if I'll finish it, but I'm hoping to finish it. And then I'll probably be done with this vlog, but we'll see how far I get into Maniac McGee. I only read 50 pages of it last night, so we'll see. We'll see how much I'm up for reading, and then before I need to pass out asleep again. I will probably be up pretty late tonight because I just slept from like 6 o'clock to 1:30 in the morning. So what time did we get home? Was it 6 o'clock? I think it was 6 o'clock. I think I fell asleep, like hit the pillow at 6:30. So 6:30, 7:30, 7:30, 8:30, 8:30, 9:30, 9:30, 10:30, 10:30, 11:30, 11:30, 1:30, or 12:30, 12:30, 1:30. So I've already slept 7 hours, so I'm really good. But tomorrow I have babysitting again from 9 to 3, and then I have to go to the studio for a couple solos. So I'll be there. I'll be doing that. Okay, it's about 4 a.m. I am on page 100 of Maniac McGee. I only have 84 pages left, but since it's 4 a.m. and I have to be up at 8 o'clock to babysit, I'm going to shut off my light and rest. I'm probably not going to go back to sleep because I just slept for 7 hours, but I do have to be up at 8 o'clock and I have a kind of long day tomorrow, so I'm going to just chill and watch some YouTube until maybe I fall asleep again. But this is where I'm going to end the vlog, so I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!
Wasn't that a great video? Clearly books make me very happy. Now you can make me happy too. Click the subscribe button to follow my channel. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you think I did good. And the notification bell will let you know when I post new content. Also, follow my Instagram for more book shenanigans.